Prina, welcome to the show.
Hello, Charles. So great to be here today.
So, Prina, we met each other maybe what 2, 3 years ago via Leanne Hughes workshop, and it's been amazing watching you grow. And I mean, one of the reasons why I wanted to chat to you is you are can officially call yourself a published author, and there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears goes behind it. But before we get to that, I always like to find out people the so-called origin story. Like, I mean, you're on a mission to shake up the workplace. And I remember just briefly reading the book that you um, had out that you spoke about that it was greatly inspired by your dad because he was a migrant worker. You saw the stress. So can you just take us back to that was it a specific day or like how did it happen?
Oh, Charles. Okay, this question is brilliant, and the way you've asked it is very different as well. So I've really been thinking about how to answer your question. So every single one of us, I think, pretty much learns about work from our parents and their experience,
Mm,
right?
mm,
Like that's our first experience of work, because
mm,
as a kid, we're just happy playing around as you've got a little toddler. You know all
mm,
too well about that.
mm,
So I first learned about work through my dad's experience of work, and he is a migrant. He's passed away now. What happened was my dad was in managerial kind of levels of work when we were living in Kenya. So I was born in Kenya. At the age of 8, Charles, we moved to the UK. And now comes a story of a migrant worker plus an alcoholic plus someone who highly identified with his job.
mm,
Okay, so here we are in the UK, manager level dad, he holds that identity very strongly to his heart. He's a proud man. Starts to apply for jobs, Charles, and nothing for months. And the kind of responses were, oh, we don't know if you can speak English. Like, what the hell? Interview the dude first off and then find out perhaps.
mm,
You don't have UK experience. So
mm,
have we not heard about transferable skills? And
mm,
just the constant rejection that he received exacerbated his alcoholism. So he was a functional alcoholic. There were other things that exacerbated his alcoholism as well. But yeah, seeing that within the household, Charles, and his identity to work, and then, if he'd had a crap day at work, we felt it, obviously. So the home feels it, Charles.
mm,
And then beyond that, right, the alcoholism got worse and worse. And eventually my dad passed away due to it, which was horrible.
mm.
Um, it's not just my family that are affected, it's our little Indian community. And then, people from that. And then just this kind of horrible, toxic effect of workplace then leaches out into society. It's that wider, it's that exponential sharing of the shitness of work. I don't
Mm.
know if I'm allowed to swear,
Of
but
course you can.
yeah, candid
Mhm.
conversations. Yeah, just the shitness of work doesn't only impact one person, is what I've learned from my dad. And then I've seen this within the workplace through my own experience as well of working within corporates. It's not just the one individual that's ever affected, Charles. It's
Mm,
their partner, it's their kids, it's their little community. And then we leach it out. Everybody
mm.
else then feels it somehow or another.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because I was reading, I forgot what book I was reading. Oh, actually, I remember now. It was about Scary Close by Donald Miller, and which is kind of like his biography. And I literally finished it reading about a few days ago. And he mentioned something quite interesting that the fabric of family kind of got broken up with the introduction of Industrial Revolution. Because before that, you have to be self-sufficient. So that means dad and mom were at home.
Yes, yes.
But now all of a sudden, Industrial Revolution, dad becomes a factory worker. He's gone for the whole day, and he might experience bad experience from work, from boss, or nudging of some a-hole colleagues, and he brings it back home. And now the role of mom and dad falls onto the mom and over generations. And I was like, I never knew that part. It makes complete sense. Because
Yeah,
think about that, that is what happens. Going
yeah.
from a close-knit family, a daddy goes to work on the farm, being self-sufficient to become a factory worker. And a shift of
Yeah.
mentality. So when you said that, it got me thinking that we are not factory workers. We're not designed to be factory workers. You know, if you think about us as human being, but like the whole thing about industrial revolution
Yep.
kind of made that happen. But nevertheless, so was that I mean, so you obviously have a great interest in HR. You worked in it for like 20 odd years. Was that
Yeah.
the main reason that you wanted to go into the field to understand it, or what was a 18-year-old,
Oh,
20-year-old Prina thinking about HR and why HR?
Charles. Okay, this is a really candid conversation now. Oh my gosh, no one has asked me this question either. What are we doing, Charles? Okay, I I'm so glad you mentioned Donald Miller, his work. You know, he's talking about sociological concepts and sociology, isn't he?
Mm, mm,
So I actually studied a Bachelor of Science in Sociology and Social Psychology, Charles.
mm,
I didn't know what the hell I wanted to go into. So this was in the days of, UK days where we had brilliant career centers. And back in the day, like, oh, I studied this brilliant degree, which has just completely blown my mind open and just opened my eyes and everything to the world. And now what do I want to do with all of this new knowledge? So I went to the Career Center, Charles, and I, did the whole tests and whatever. And they worked out two areas I could potentially work in to suit my work style preferences. One was actually market research and marketing, and then the other was HR. Okay. So I thought, whatever. As a student, I checked them all out, and I applied for both avenues as well. Um, and back in the day in the UK, applications for graduate jobs were really tough. Like it was a fight. And you wanted to apply to the best organizations because they had the best graduate programs.
mm,
So I applied to British Telecom on a HR graduate program, and there were around 500 offers. And I tell you, it was like Pop Idol, but like frigging HR Idol. They took all of us down to Heathrow Airport at a hotel. So we were all housed there. We had assessment centers for 3 days. Everybody was observing us, like all of the various HR teams of British Telecom were there, looking at us like we were pieces of meat. We would then have a little bit of rest time after the 9 to 5 activities for the 3 days. And then at dinner time, I knew we were all monitored in terms of our etiquette, our socialization skills, all of that kind of stuff as well. So we were on show like 24/7, I felt like. Anyhow, I won a job. I was one of five who actually won out of all of these. I think it was like 300 or 500 people who actually applied. So that graduate program set me up. So it gave me the foundations
mm,
of knowledge of HR. And it was an amazing program because I got to rotate across British Telecom, across all of the UK as well. So they had around, at the time I was working there, around 280,000 employees.
mm.
So I learned the best from the best back in the day in the UK. And that's it. That's one of my origin stories actually. So that's how I fell into HR, Mr. Charles.
So you know what? This is quite interesting that you said because one other thing I was going to ask you is like if like your words now, like you had to be on show.
Yeah,
And the key word is on show. So that
yeah,
means it's not your real self, and it's like it's like kind of like modern day Big Brother live
yeah,
stream.
yeah.
That's something about that just doesn't sit well with me.
Oh
Like you
man,
have to almost like you have to wait. Like I'm out of I'm mommy and daddy are leaving now. Oh, where's my mask? Let me put on my work mask so I can pretend to be who they want me to be. So have you seen that evolve over the past 10 years, 20 years? Has it gotten healthier, worse, or do you think companies still do that?
let's get into this one then, Charles. So on show equals for me performative, right? Performative bullshit is what it is. It's all fake. It's all faux. So on show in that respect of the assessment centers, God, yeah, whoever was the most charismatic or the most best on show, and extroverts do super well. Luckily, I'm one of these who could be an extra and an intro. I'm a bit of both, so I did well. Um, so there's that aspect to it as well. But then when we take ourselves within the workplace, and this is after like 20 something years of work, how much within the workplace is performative, Charles? So if we look at just the whole employee life cycle, again, interviews, performative. Are you genuine there, or do you have to put on this show? You have to put on a show. When you are first new in an organization and you have your probation process or whatever, yeah, you are yourself, but you are performing. So it's a performative activity again. And I've seen that from the HR side of things, where people have really messed up, and I've had to sack a lot of people in my past HR jobs, right?
Mm.
And then you go into, when you want to go for promotions, performative again, Charles. So much of it is performative, which is what really irked me. And when we talk about genuine leadership, authentic leadership, there's so many theories and stories about all of that. I think we just need to come back to basics, which is why I actually wrote my book, Make Work Meaningful: How to Create a Culture That Leaves a Legacy, because I have just taken out all performative bullshit out of it, and I've given you so many practical tips within the book.
Mm. Fascinating. And yeah, everything boils down to performance, 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 because I guess business, right? And it's sad but true. It's sad but true. So let's talk about the book and some of the case studies. Now, you wrote this book, and I like to ask you, how long did it take you to write it? But I guess if you have to reflect, it took you 20 years to write it, because it's 20 years of cumulative. It wasn't like it's 1 year to physically write it, but it's 20 odd years of
Oh,
um
totally. You got it. I mean, you've read parts of the book as well. So exactly. It's my tried and tested methodology. Like, I've been working on this over the years. I've seen what hasn't worked from my, past experience and all of my wonderful experiences that I've had. And then throughout my career, I've been seeing what works and what doesn't work. So,
mm,
the other thing as well, Charles, while we're having a candid conversation, lots of people talk about the fact that there's no such thing as a new leadership theory or a new leadership concept. We just rebrand it, rebadge it, whatever. That may well be the case, but in the sense of actual practical guidance, I think the book serves very well, because it actually gets you, after each chapter, to really reflect on yourself and do the homework. So there's note sections within the book as well. So I guess it depends on the kind of application you want from the book. If you're one of these super practical people who wants to get things done, then that's the book for you. Yeah.
so tell me something. You mentioned some of the case studies that you mentioned. So please share one that kind of like a go-to story of transformative, in terms of
Mm,
perhaps somebody called you in because
mhm.
they either know your work from the past, or know and read parts of the book, and or was at the launch to say, wow, there's something there that's like kind of the missing link, and we asked Prina to come in to help us. Share with us some one or two stories that comes to mind.
Okay. Who? Um, all right. I've got a case study. It's in chapter 9, and it's a case study of a wonderful CEO that I know, who I've been working with on and off for a few years now, and various teams within his organizations. He's moved a couple of times. His name is Anthony Vuletta, and there's something about him which is really not performative, but he gets results.
Mm,
So I was like, oh, what is this? And I've unpacked his thing within the chapter. And one of the things, one of the real beautiful practical things that he does, Charles, within any organization that he works, so he's changed now to become a CEO of another organization, is, I've called it in this in chapter 9, he creates moments that matter.
mhm,
From an organizational culture perspective, moments that matter, which are true to you and your organization's culture, your organization's DNA, your organization's vibe, whatever you want to call it, that is where you start to make real meaningful change and impact, rather than the performative stuff which culture surveys tell you to do as a CEO, which consultants tell you to do as a CEO. None of that. He really truly listens to the ground and really gets the, I guess, the pulse check or the sense of what's happening, and he meanders. So he doesn't get it right all the time as well, and he said that himself,
mm.
but man, he tries and he does it well.
So what is the end result when he does that? Like, I guess people listening, okay, cool, it's lovely. He makes moments that matter.
Okay,
What is the end
end
result?
results. Let's talk performance. All right. Yeah. So performative results. Let's go back.
Transformation.
Transformation. Okay. But we do want a return on investment as well, don't we? For all of his hard work. So he is the CEO. Well, not just him and all of his team, his workplaces he's worked at. You know, it's a combined effort when we're managing culture. I will say they have won numerous awards for organizational culture results and culture increases in positive results of organizational culture. Retention has been really good. During the awful pandemic, the way that they managed the workplace was really good to the point where people talk about it now. People talk about him, you know, like he's left a legacy. That's what my book is about. Like when you leave a legacy beyond the performative measures, the stuff that really touches people, that I think is the result, as well as the proper outcomes. Yes.
I mean, it sounds like a place that, I mean, the way I see it is like a lot of times, and you probably see it too, somebody puts on a job description and I can see it's freaking copy pasted from the internet.
Yes.
And then they're complaining that all the candidates are rubbish. And I'm like, brother, your description is so vanilla. What do you think is what kind of quality of people, applicants, do you think you attract? And they are complaining that the applicants are rubbish. So the reason why I brought this up is I'm sure by doing that makes the business more valuable because people that want to work for a place like that will apply in a place like that.
Yes.
And then it's kind of like a flywheel effect, and then the momentum carries on and carries on and carries on. So, but it probably took a couple of years for that to come in place. It wasn't like immediate. How many years are we talking about in total?
Oh gosh, it takes years of Anthony's been working on this since the beginning of time. Gosh, so he was the CEO of his last organization for a long time, many years, and he's been working on organizational culture for around 15 years, I understand, perhaps longer. So I think that's a good caveat as well, because there's no promises that there's an overnight fix ever with organizational culture. Remember also, we're not working on a thing that is a non-thing. Organizational culture requires human beings. Human beings are the ones who actually create the organizational culture. Human beings take a long frigging time to change as well, Charles. So we need patience. Yeah.
Patience. Yeah. So I mean, big part of the theme is legacy. And you mentioned that sometimes, like if you think about legacy, it's a big word, but you have a specific way or your specific definition. Tell us what that is in your own words.
Okay. So the seed of this book actually came about when I was talking to a HR colleague, a friend of mine, and he was saying my CEO is leaving and I don't know how best to support him. So my conversation was, well, why don't you just ask him what kind of legacy he wants to leave? But then my thinking went, here, there, and everywhere. And I thought, why do we have to wait until the end of life or the end of our career to consider what kind of legacy we want to leave? So that was the big light bulb moment. And I thought, no, we can leave a legacy every frigging day. And that's what the book really enables you to do. First off, the book enables you to be the architect of your own career. Because I think often, Charles, we are the passenger, not the driver of our career, unfortunately. So there's a lot of self-reflection first off. Then, from an individual perspective, the book enables you to work out what kind of legacy you want to leave. Charles, yours might be leaving the sales team, at the top performing, blah, 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 whatever. Other people's might be to leave the organization or leave this project plan in the best place possible so it can be handed over. I don't know. There could be lots of different legacies from large to small. It can be culture change, it could be mega transformative, or it could be individual, team, or leader perspective. We're all different.
Yeah, I think that's a very differentiator when it comes to why you rock up to work every day. Because I'm sure you've been to stores or places when you can see the employees are just there for the paycheck.
Exactly.
And you can see when somebody or on the other side, you can see somebody doing something seemingly meaningful, but they want to create a wonderful experience because they care about what they do. So I'll give you an example, like I went to buy some one of the window hinges in my house, like kind of like broke, and my wife wanted to put some painting on. So I went to the local DIY store, and I can see that. So this company is it's a South Africa company called Chamberlain's, and what's interesting about the company is every single person they wear the Chamberlain's branded shirt, and it says since whatever year. So that's the year you joined the company.
Oh,
So
huh.
that's very unique. So if you see
Yeah,
somebody that's been there since 2010, then you know, wow, they've been there for 14 years. So that's
yeah,
something that like you can see by how long they've been there since whatever. Anyway, so this guy, I mean, I wasn't looking for his year, but I just realized what he made for him. It wasn't just a weekend job. Like I can see that the guy is probably like in his early 20s, probably a student. But the way he helped me, like he cared about what he did, and like he helped me really quick. And he say, "See, it's all done, quick." And I said to him, "It's all done because you know your stuff and you're proud of what you do." And that lit up his day.
wow,
Or you go to stores when people just literally just like, where is the window here? They'll literally just point and walk away. I don't know if you have
yeah,
those experiences. They're just like they
yeah.
couldn't care less.
Totally. And we have these experiences at work as well, Charles. That's the other
Hmm.
thing. So you need to choose what you want to be. You could be that checked out person or you could be the engaged person. And I'm not all about singing kumbaya, like praising organizations or anything, but this is about you and how you spend your day. Like check
Mm,
in on yourself. Do you not want to make work meaningful for yourself? And that meaning, Charles, it could be that I have made a brilliant day for someone. It could be something as simple as that through to, the bigger, grander career kind of things. So not everyone is career driven necessarily
yeah.
either.
Mm.
But we all want to have a good day at work though, nonetheless.
Absolutely, because we all know we spend more time at work than with our own family. So
Yes.
for the people that's listening right now, like, I mean, if they had to ask you, what is something, because I believe that the quality of your leadership in your business will rest on the quality of the questions that you ask. The better your question, the better the outcome, and the better your insights. So
Yeah.
what is a powerful question to ask the leaders, like for to reflect for themselves?
Okay. Okay. Leaders, if you are comfortable enough, please ask your people, be okay with it, to ask this. What are a few things I could do to make your day easier for you?
Hmm.
But you have to have the relationship, you have to have the psychological safety, you have to have the trust, all of that, right? To have the right kind of answers or open answers, like open feedback. One of the things I always used to do, Charles, if when I was new to leading and I didn't have that rapport, the relationship with my team, is in my one-to-ones, I would always ask them, do you have feedback for me, first off,
Mhm.
as well as many other questions. And then I'd say, I have feedback for you. So it starts that feedback loop and we start to feel comfortable. So perhaps start a feedback loop in a safe, smaller way first, and then expand to the deeper questions about, okay, how do we make work meaningful? How can I be a better leader for you? How can I make your day easier for you? What can I do for you? And then flipping it around as well. And the employee asking that question back. And that conversation, Charles. Once we get candid with those conversations within the workplace, shit changes and it is the best.
You know what? And it definitely, when you were talking about that, it just got me thinking about my previous work experience. I mean, at a previous company, I had 4 wonderful years, and I always explain this to people that it's like working for somebody or any business relationship is like a relationship. You remember the beginning, the middle is a
Yes.
bit fuzzy, but you always remember the breakup.
Oh, I love that. Yep.
You always remember the breakup. And I remember then, like when I was about to leave, they send me one of these feedback from asking those exact questions, and I'm thinking, it's too
Too
late.
late.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're
I'm
gone.
already left,
Uh,
and now you're asking me to give you. It's too late. So,
yeah.
leaders out there, do not ask that when they are kind of like already exit interview, so to speak. It's too late.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you said, like if you want feedback, you have to put on your emotional big boy pants on. You
Totally.
cannot get defensive. You go in there with the attitude of I'm there to listen,
Yes.
because your employee don't know how you will react. Like,
No.
are they going to get a warning? Are they going to be demoted? Are they still going to have another job? And
No.
don't ask leading questions.
Yes, yeah. That's a huge one. That's a huge one. And I really like the fact that you talked about that family, the relationship aspect. I love that analogy. One thing I talk about in terms of leadership as well is okay, so from a leadership perspective, trust is everything. Lencioni, the best people have written about trust. We need
Mm,
trust. Well, why don't we just look at a work relationship, pretty much like a love relationship? We
mm,
are not going to get into the workplace and on day one, I'm going to trust you and you're going to trust me. No, no
mm,
frigging way, Charles. It takes time to build. It takes time to build that rapport, the trust, the interest in each other as well, love relationship as well as a work relationship. And Charles, one of the chapters in my book also, and this is something you are completely across, I talk about the marketing concept of know, like, and trust, Charles.
mm,
Leaders, if you learn the marketing concept for your own professional brand, people firstly need to know you,
mm,
then they need to like and respect you, then it will lead to trust. No one's going to
mm.
trust you immediately, so don't even freaking expect trust immediately, leaders. Yeah, really.
Lots to think about and lots to chew on. So
Yeah.
Prina, as we about to wind down and wind up our conversation, I'm gonna just make it fun and throw some lightning round questions. So these are
Okay.
just don't think, just answer.
Okay.
And one of them is, what is a phrase or a word that somebody only in your industry will know, and what does it mean?
What is a word or a phrase that only people in... Oh, disgusting. HR language. Termination. It is disgusting. It means to end an employee's employment.
Mm.
Termination.
I know it's like
How
killing somebody, like terminate. You are dead. You terminate.
inhumane. Disgusting. Yep.
Okay. All right. And speaking of which, what is the most insulting thing somebody can say about your work? That you are a, or fill in the blank.
Ooh, insulting thing.
Like if you tell people what you do and they say, oh, so you are a, and that just gets your blood boiled.
Oh, I guess belittling my work, perhaps. I haven't been insulted. I have to think about this one. You are that just, I think in any sentence would just irk me. Whatever comes after that, Charles, you're gonna piss me off.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right. And is there a specific tool or app you use in your industry that is like a go-to move for you? Go-to tool.
A go-to tool or an app for me in my industry. Well, for my own learning, Charles, this is a greedy one. I'm answering for my own learning. I'm doing lots of courses at the moment on all things from marketing through to learning about organizational culture at the next level as well. Lots of entrepreneurs are using a tool called Circle, which is
Okay.
like a learning management system, which I frigging wished the corporate world would actually use because it's so accessible, it's so good. Circle. I think you've used it, haven't you?
No,
No,
no, I'm writing it down because I've never heard of it. I'm going to read up on
it's
it
cool.
afterward. Okay.
Really good. Yeah.
Okay. Last question is, and that is, who is the most famous person in your industry, real or fiction, according
Oh,
to you?
oh my God. Most famous person in my industry,
Real or fiction?
real or fiction? Ted Lasso. Let's bring him
Oh,
in as
lie. Oh, I like Titty Ted.
right. Ted Lasso as the best leader everyone should aspire to be like. How about that?
No, I like that because that is not somebody I thought you mentioned, but now that you mentioned, absolutely, because I remember, spoiler alert, I mean, I watched the first, I think, 1 or 2 seasons with my wife, and it was like, this guy's kind of corny, but we like him. Let's see what
Yeah.
happens next. Let's see what happens next. It's like he's gone through some stuff, and he goes from American football to soccer, which he knows nothing about.
Which is,
He has to
yeah,
fight against ego players. He has to fight against people that are like, what does he know about our culture? And at the end, people end up liking him. At the same time, he's also fighting his own battles with relationship with different things. So
right.
yes, very, very good one. Very, very good one.
It's the hero's journey of
I
a
love it.
leader, I would say.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. I love it. So
Last one.
Prina, um, to wrap up, if people want to, first of all, if they want to get hold of you, want to know more about your podcast, know more about your book, where's the best place to get it? Where's the best place to get hold of you?
Yeah. LinkedIn is always the best place. So I always say that LinkedIn is my is my office. Excuse me. LinkedIn is my office. So Prina Shah, check out the show notes. Charles will have my name spelt. And then if you're on Instagram and you want to learn all about my garden and my behind the scenes crap and brain farts, then Prina.Shah. I am on Instagram as well to learn behind the scenes about my life.
Very, very cool. Thank you so much, Prina. And
My
subscribers, listeners,
pleasure.
if you find this useful, please share it, click like, leave a comment. It will be much appreciated. And thank you for listening. Till next time. Goodbye. And that's a wrap.
Charles, whoa, you took me down a different road altogether. Cool questions. I like
Thank
that.
you, thank you. Look, like I said, I mean, those are just guidelines, and I always kind of like follow the cookie crumbs depending on your answer. That's how I
You
roll.
are a solid interviewer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know, like I get nervous before every interview because it's like I want to make it worth people's while, but at the same time, I don't just like to talk about surface level stuff.
No, I can see. Yeah. No, you got into it. And thank you for letting me get into it as well. That's cool. Thank you. I can't wait to
No,
listen to it
no,
now.
it's been a pleasure. There's something I want to ask you. So I think I did
Sure.
speak to you about this before, about the writing the book, right? The
Ah,
so writing the book, I get the motivation behind it. What was the kind of like, were you hoping this will take your career to your next level, or because you invest a lot of time into it? Like, what
it
was the
has.
hopes and dreams, you know?
It already has. So one of my early readers, Charles, when I did the whole help this book process, I did the early reader process, blah blah. So I got my ideal clients to read and randoms as well to read. One new random person who was an early reader,
Mm.
uh, I landed the biggest deal of my work life so far.
Oh, wow.
From a frigging early reader. The book wasn't even published yet.
So this guy is totally random
Yep.
and based in Australia?
Yeah, yeah. So I did a reach out, via LinkedIn. I've got Sales Navigator, so I put my ideal client profile,
Mhm.
DM'd a load of them with the
Mm.
link to my Be an Early Reader if you want to. There's no loss. You'll gain a free book.
Mm.
Um,
Hmm.
and voila.
How many of them did you send out? The Sales
Pardon?
Navigator. How many of those messages did you send out? Do you remember? Like, was 100, 200, 300, or anybody you
Less
can find?
than, I would say between 50 to 60. This is all when I was doing it myself. Then I did have to hire a VA to do lots of email drips and all of that kind of stuff for this whole Amazon frigging leave me a review situation. That I had to play hard. Yeah.
But it's worth it because people trust reviews. And then
Yeah.
Robert Fitzgerald, did you join his community or just read his book? Just remind me.
I joined his community as well for the period that I was writing my book and publishing it and getting the early readers because the community is really helpful to help you. If you're going to self-publish, all of the Amazon crap keeps on changing.
Mm.
His community is really good for that as well, by the way, because I found that Facebook was just full of randoms who didn't know that much and they weren't entrepreneurial people like us.
They were just
They're
waffle, waffle,
writing.
waffle opinions. Like, I don't really
I just,
care.
yeah. So
Hmm.
these were like proper aligned people.
So he's got the community and he's got I think the self-paced course. Did you do both or just like join the community?
Just the community. I didn't do any course. No.
Mm.
I read his book and then I
Mm.
wrote book based off that. And I
Okay.
think I emailed you. I had like
Yeah.
rough chapter outlines. So even while, because I was really busy. So I had rough chapter outlines. I just used to, on a butcher's paper, actually, just dump my ideas. And then within 12 days, I wrote a dirty
Yeah.
chapter
The first
each.
draft, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because I mean, I really, I mean, that book blew me away because, like, I love his way of thinking that value per page.
Yeah,
And then I'm like, wait a minute. Like in the
exactly.
beginning, I wrote my first draft and I included the introduction. But after thinking that question, I'm like, okay, does my introduction and my background help people gain value? No, it doesn't. So I need to reshuffle it somewhere somehow.
Yeah.
So it's been very, very practical. It's kind of like blew my mind.
Good. Because a
Yeah.
value question is really, really difficult one for how you want to give value. So my value was an activity and then, your notebook section at the end of each chapter
Mm-hmm,
for them to, because it's a DIY book.
mm-hmm.
What is your book? Is it going to be like a DIY book? Is it going to be full of what?
Are you,
A
are you,
lot of,
are you, are you asking me?
yeah, like have you worked out?
Yeah. So for now, and I got this idea from reading another book, um, and that is it's going to be categorized with different symbols. So, for example, general knowledge, industry knowledge, specific knowledge. So people can go there based on the symbols to see what they want to read. So the book is called The Alphabet Soup of Selling, like literally A to Z, 26 alphabets, right?
Love it.
And then at end of each chapter will be reflective questions and action points. But I want to take a little bit further because one thing to ask people that, but it doesn't mean anything if they don't take action.
Correct.
I know I can't make them take action, but I'm just thinking about there must be something else I can do to anyway. It's like I say, it's on the first draft. That's where I'm at right now, and
Yeah.
looking for different ideas to because what I like about what Rob said is I and you did not write a book to be a book marketer, but that's what happens for a lot of people. I mean, one of the I'm not going to mention her name. She said to me, she's on the group. She said that after 6 months, she just stopped marketing because she just couldn't anymore. It was too much because she became a book marketer.
Yeah, right. But your content though should, I mean, it depends what your book is about. My book is properly aligned. So I had to really strategically think about where do I want my business to head and what do
Mm,
I therefore want to write about. Some people, and Leanne was honest, she said, this is legacy Leanne. Like she's not 2 hour workshop blueprint anymore. She's like this tropical workshop Leanne now. So she said it was a
Did she
legacy
say
book,
a topical or tropical?
tropical,
What does that
like
mean?
outdoors. She lives in Brisbane. It's all tropical there.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, cool. Um, so she's more of a conference speaker kind of. She's evolved, but that book, I guess if you want it to have legs, as I do for my book, I want at least 2 years out of this. Yeah, like I've
At
worked
least,
hard for this. So work out how long you want it and how long you want to. You're brilliant at BD. You're the king of BD. How long do you want to BD this book for? Because you are
mm,
going to have to talk about it. So all of my content, like every day, I'm posting on LinkedIn at the moment, by the way, content link to my book, content link to my book, content link to my book. It's all still
mm,
content which is still valid to my business. So
mm,
some of my friends have written books which are not valid to their business. And then I think, well, what are you doing? This is a random. And then you confuse your ICP as well.
mm. Yeah, it's and the thing is, it's forever changing. Like the you from 9 years ago that started your business is not the same you now.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
like I'm writing it from a point of view that I want, like when Leo's old enough, I say, Daddy wrote a book. These are some of the lessons Daddy learned. That's one of it. And I'm not writing anything in terms
Legacy.
of thank you. And it's not another, I'm not writing topical stuff. I'm not writing about the latest tech because that's going to be the news today, toilet paper for tomorrow, or fish
Yeah.
wrapping paper for tomorrow.
Yeah.
But these are basically things that, like how the editor calls it, is you can dip in and dip out.
So it's a
Because at the end of
classic, which is not gonna.
I don't know about, I mean, I haven't thought about it like that, but I want it to be practical, like the value per page. That's always been my thing. Like, if there's no value, then don't even write it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's such
Anyways,
effort.
that's just, and obviously bringing passive income and open other doors.
Thank you, right? Exactly. So I've
Yeah,
written it, and the other thing I really like the way that Rob he wrote his book. I read it somewhere. He's written it like you can create it into a training program, which he's done.
yeah, very smart. And you know what? I like I was watching the training videos, and it's like, first of all, there's no fancy tech. He's literally just click record and cut it out. Second of all, he wasn't even looking to the camera. He's like talking like this the whole time.
Oh my God.
Like I seriously wasn't even looking at the camera. But yet, Prina, the content is so good, I bought it.
It doesn't matter, right? There you go.
I was like, huh, interesting.
Says a lot.
It
That's
says a
good.
lot.
good as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it says a lot. Like I said, it's like he's not the best speaker because every
Yeah.
word he finishes talks like that. Everything is like the
Yeah.
high, like he finished with a high thing and this book. And I'm like, oh, but the
It's
content's good. So
annoying.
yeah, I'll live with it. I'll live with it. Anyways,
Yeah.
to thank you for your time. Is there anything else I can do to add value to you besides posting this when it comes
Oh,
out?
my pleasure. Oh, one thing I've been doing with some friends, and this is completely up to you and completely okay if you say no as well. So people like Mel and other people's podcasts I've been on is I'd love to have you on my podcast as well. Like I stopped it, but I want to restart it. And then when I have you on, could we do like a podcast swap? So we get two podcasts for one.
What does that
So
mean? What does a podcast swap mean?
So the one
Uh-huh.
that I interview you, I will give you also, and you can also host it on your own platform. Because one thing I have seen is my own listeners love it when someone else interviews me, but they don't often go to the other person's podcast. So I bring their questioning to me. So Yuri interviewed me, it was on his
Hmm.
podcast.
Hmm.
He's allowed me to put it on my own podcast as well.
Oh, you're talking about this conversation, put it on your podcast. Oh, is
Yeah,
that what you
and
mean? But of course, of course, of course, of
yeah,
course.
and vice
That's a yes.
versa. When you come
Yeah.
on mine, back
Okay.
there.
So
That
so
cross
we
pollination has been good.
no, no, absolutely, because it's different. It's different. What do you call it?
Different markets.
Different market, different audience. So what do you have a specific dating mind for the?
I don't, because I'm posting on LinkedIn every day. I'm doing this other course, which is so freaking intense. Have you heard of Chris Donnelly, by the way?
I know Chris do but Donnelly no.
So he's LinkedIn's #1 creator. He's got the most followers on LinkedIn, and he's got this whole formula and technique. And his third cohort I am in now. It is breaking my brain. It's amazing. That's what I'm learning on Circle at the moment. It's like a frigging master's in marketing. It's beyond LinkedIn. So I've looked at my website, I've looked at this, I've looked at that. So I've stopped podcasting. So I want to get back to podcasting. I reckon April, May,
Mm.
I'll be back.
So many things, right? So many things, so little time. And it's like, uh,
Exactly.
yeah, it's just one day at a time. And pace of grace, that's what I call it. Because like,
Yes.
especially in my season right now, realistically, um, because of the little one, we
Yeah.
can only work 4 days a week.
Yep.
Because those 4 days a week are where the nanny's here. On Wednesdays, we don't have a nanny. So Wednesdays, we have called it family day now.
Perfect. And you want Leo time. You've got
Of
the
course, we
ability
love it.
to.
We love it. You know what? Just
Yeah.
to share something. Um, so last year there was an event in South Africa called Suits and Sneakers, ran by this guy called Mark Sham, and there was like the
Cool.
year end one in November. They had a lot of well-known speakers coming, and I mean, I would love to go, and I wanted to go, and I had tickets to go, but something inside me says, just don't go. And even Mark himself has had Charles says tickets. I'm like, something inside me says no, and I don't know what it was. I don't know
Wow.
until the actual day, and it was on a Wednesday. So my son, in Australia, I don't know if they do anything for kids called water safety classes. So
Yeah,
basically,
totally.
to prevent kids
Absolutely.
from
Yeah.
drowning. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
so Leo's been going to class, and it's horrific for. Have you been to one of those, like with your cousins and
For my
stuff?
niece. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know what they do, right? So that was his day of coming on semi-graduation, and they took him fully clothed and just threw him in
Wow.
because this is what happens
Test.
when you drown. You have
Yep,
to test,
yep, yep.
and I filmed the whole thing. And that day, I realized why I didn't go. Whew, I'm getting emotional.
Good.
Whew. And it's to witness that moment.
Right?
Witness that moment of him kind of like flip around and be able to at least stay afloat for a few minutes if that's something like that happens. So that was
Wow.
worth it because I say to myself, I'm not going to remember anything these famous business people said
No,
3 4 years,
you can
but I'm
watch it
going to remember them
online.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm going to remember that moment. So
Yes.
I just have to be the reason why
You
I'm saying
do.
this to you. There's lots of things I want to do, but I just have to be kind of like
Yep.
realistic, like where I'm at in this season.
Oh, you have to be brutal with your time is what you have to be, even more so now, yeah. Yeah.
Mm, mm. Oh,
Totally.
I get emotional every time I tell that story. Yeah.
Well, Good, because there's gonna be loads more stories, by the way,
Yeah,
coming up every freaking day.
absolutely. But
Wow.
Prina, thank you so much for your time. I know you got
Oh,
to get going, and myself too. So
I
thanks
love
again.
chatting with you. Let me know when
Likewise.
it's going to be aired, and I will share the love out of it as well, Charles.
Awesome. All right. See you
Okay.
later.
Stay in touch. Take care, my
Bye.
friend. Bye.